and a boot to Baszler. Takes Baszler out of the mix.
5 Charlotte Flair WWE feuds that disappointed everyone. Charlotte Flair is a highly decorated, multi-time WWE champion who has dominated the women's division since her 2015 main roster debut. Despite her spot as one of the industry's top performers, her booking has made her one of the company's most polarizing stars. Tiffany Stratton even said that the Queen pours water on the rising fire of any newer star. Many fans are worried that Flair will once again beat a promising up-and-coming performer at WrestleMania 41. Some love the continuation of her father's gimmick and her athleticism. Others, however, are tired of her constant pushes in the title picture. Flair may be one of the greatest women in WWE history, but the following 5 feuds disappointed many fans. 5. Hot potatoing the title with Sasha Banks in 2016. One of Flair's earliest feuds was also one of the most maddening. She beat both Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 32. After a few wins over Natalya, Flair engaged in a feud with Banks for the rest of 2016. In all, the title changed hands 6 times between July 25 and December 18, fast-tracking Flair toward her father's record of 16 world championships. It was also unevenly booked, as each time Sasha Banks won, the match occurred on Raw. When Flair regained the belt, it was at a PLE-like SummerSlam or Hell in a Cell. Having so many swaps in 6 months greatly devalued the title simply to prop up the Queen's number of championship victories. 4. Ending Asuka's undefeated streak in WWE in 2018. By the time the first ever Women's Royal Rumble came around in 2018, Flair's constant presence in the title scene was already an issue. Asuka came off a dominant 500-plus day run as NXT Women's Champion and was never pinned. The Empress of Tomorrow joined Raw and won the Rumble. She opted to challenge Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34. Instead of creating a new force in the women's division, Flair simply defeated Asuka at WrestleMania with a lackluster build-up. Mr. McMahon was still in charge of WWE at the time and didn't regard anything happening in NXT as important. The decision only propped Flair up even more while ending a run that could have helped someone else. Number 3. Beating a young Rhea Ripley in 2020. Since WWE always booked Flair in the title picture, they were in a strange spot in 2020 when she was booked to win the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch and Bayley were the champions at the time, and Flair had feuded with both numerous times. Bookers went an alternate route to have the Queen challenge NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Some fans thought that this would finally be the time when Flair would lose to a hyped-up newcomer, but again, it didn't happen. Despite the quality of the matches, Flair beat Ripley and had an uneventful run as NXT Women's Champion. As if it wasn't bad enough, the Queen dropped the title a few months later in another triple threat, but Io Sky pinned Ripley. 2. Nikki Ash's brief title run after Money in the Bank in 2021. Flair was feuding again with Ripley, the Raw Women's Champion at the time in 2021. History repeated itself needlessly yet again when she bested the Eradicator for the title at the Money in the Bank PLE. Nikki Ash won the women's case on the same night and cashed in on Flair on Raw 2 days after Money in the Bank. The cash-in led to a triple threat match at SummerSlam. This situation felt like an excuse for Flair and Ripley to challenge for the title without either getting pinned. It also felt like a rush to get rid of the briefcase. However, a quick turnaround has plagued the women's Money in the Bank case, with 5 winners cashing in within 2 days of claiming the contract. Number 1. A brief feud with Toni Storm in 2021 led to her quitting WWE after a run as NXT UK Women's Champion. Toni Storm briefly moved stateside to work in Florida. She was quickly promoted to SmackDown, where she started what would be the last feud of her WWE career. The Queen, as she always does, hurt the credibility of a new star by not taking her seriously. Things went even further when Flair hit Storm in the face with not 1 but 2 pies laid out for Thanksgiving. The humiliating exchange led Storm to ask for her release, and the rest is history. Perhaps it was a blessing in disguise for the timeless one, but at the time, it was another disappointing instance of Flair burying a WWE opponent. WWE will make major change to WrestleMania 41 match, predicts wrestling legend. WWE is just 26 days away from the 41st annual WrestleMania Premium Live event. Several top matches have been confirmed for the grandest stage of them all this year, but as always, nothing is final until showtime. A wrestling legend just made a big prediction to remind fans of how plans are always subject to change. WrestleMania Vegas was to feature Bianca Belair vs. Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship, but Io Sky dethroned the Eradicator of the title earlier this month. 4 interferences that could happen during Charlotte Flair vs. Tiffany Stratton at WWE WrestleMania 41. Tiffany Stratton is heading to WrestleMania 41 to defend the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. The two wrestlers have proven themselves to be explosive enough during their brawls on SmackDown. However, this doesn't mean they shouldn't expect company in Las Vegas. Here are 4 stars who could interfere in their match at the show of shows. Number 4. Ric Flair could try to help his daughter become the WWE Women's Champion again. Hall of Famer Ric Flair is a big pillar, supporter, and fan of Charlotte Flair. The Nature Boy has cheered for his daughter for several of her matches from ringside. Thus, it isn't difficult to imagine that the legend could be there to witness her title match at WrestleMania 41. However, the Queen is currently a heel right now. Thus, there is a chance that Ric Flair could try to pull some underhanded tactics to give his daughter the advantage, as he wants Charlotte Flair to earn the WWE Women's Championship for the first time. Nia Jax could make Tiffany Stratton pay for betraying her. Nia Jax could make Tiffany Stratton pay for betraying her. Tiffany Stratton won the WWE Women's Championship after cashing in her Money in the Bank contract on Nia Jax. The duo had been close friends with each other before, but Jax had to look over her shoulder every time to check on Tiffy, who had helped her win the title from Bayley at the 2024 SummerSlam. While the Irresistible Force received a title rematch, it ended in a DQ and the title didn't change hands. However, she will have the perfect opportunity to exact revenge on the Buff Barbie for betraying her at WrestleMania 41. If Jax costs Tiffy the title, she could later claim a title shot against Charlotte Flair. She could state that she eliminated the most number of wrestlers from the Royal Rumble, which Flair won to receive her title shot. 2. Becky Lynch could cause problems for Tiffany Stratton. Becky Lynch is one of WWE's 4 horsewomen alongside Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. The man was last seen in action in May 2024 where she failed to reclaim the Women's World Championship from Liv Morgan. While she has signed a new deal with the Stamford-based promotion after her contract expired in June 2024, Lynch hasn't returned so far. This, however, could change at WrestleMania 41 where big-time Bex could return as a heel. The man could help the Queen defeat Tiffany Stratton and win the WWE Women's Championship. Several rumors predict that Becky Lynch will have a new character upon her return, making this a likely outcome. Number 1. Trish Stratus could lend a helping hand to her new friend. Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton have formed a very close friendship with each other in the past several weeks. The Buff Barbie and the 7-time Women's Champion have released new merchandise together and also won a tag team match against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae at Elimination Chamber. The Hall of Famer could watch Tiffy's back in Las Vegas and prevent Charlotte Flair from playing dirty. Additionally, she could also keep an eye out for other wrestlers who may try to help the Queen win her 15th World Championship. It would be interesting to see if Tiffany Stratton is able to score a win in her first Mania title defense. Condolences. Charlotte Flair sends a message after WWE SmackDown. WWE superstar Charlotte Flair made a massive impact in the latest episode of SmackDown. The Queen has now issued a message, potentially directed at WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton, following her verbal back and forth with the 25-year-old on the Friday night show. On the March 21st installment of the Blue Brands show in Bologna, Italy, Flair and Stratton participated in a split-screen interview with Joe Tessitore. The segment became memorable because the Queen dominated the conversation, seemingly undermining the Buff Barbie's confidence ahead of their WWE Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 41. Taking to X, formerly Twitter, the dirtiest diva in the game sent a brutal one-word message after SmackDown, seemingly disparaging Tiffany Stratton. WWE veterans comment on Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton's segment on SmackDown. Dutch Mantel and Vince Russo offered their thoughts